Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for December 8th, 2024. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to be talking about, well, it's a cockpit of sorts. How about the Pink Panther acid trip jaGuar? Yeah, that's supposed to be a prank marketing thing. 2026 Hyundai Palisade, based on news from Non Sequitur News. We don't know who's actually building this. How about the McLaren Supercar with a serious draft problem? And that's more than underwater. That's the Mariana Trench. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com. Go over there and become a citizen, and you too can offer us up some news by going through whatever channels you're interested in. There's 50 of them, and then submitting them. But you can only do that if you are a citizen of ohmTown. So go over there, become a citizen. I need different intro music for each show. You know what? Before we get into that, I need to tell you, if you are a listener of the FourWheelTech show, there is no more Non Sequitur News show on the weekends as known as Non Sequitur News all by itself. It's not a daily show on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We are now referring to it as Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition, and it is a compilation of all three of that day's other weekly shows. So on Sunday, currently, it consists of WarCrafters, Technology Today, and this show, FourWheelTech, smushed into one big show and then posted over on YouTube and on the podcast. It's going to be over an hour and a half long show because we typically run 5 to 20 minutes long on each of these shows, particularly when I'm vamping like this. At any rate, that's how it's going to work from now. Well, we started it yesterday, and it will be the new normal for 2025. Because what ended up happening is after 3 years of doing the show every single day, we've detected that on Saturday and Sunday, it's really slim pickings. It's gotten worse over the 3 years, too, to the point where we don't want to just do a show. We want to do a fun, entertaining, and newsworthy and information-dense show with anecdote that applies. So we're nixing the weekend shows. But Monday through Friday, we're still going to have the hour-long Non Sequitur News show at 7 p.m. We're actually trying to move towards 6, but it's not always possible. So the only way to really know is to follow us here on Twitch and or YouTube and download the podcast and hang out in the Patreon and the Discord, TikTok, and maybe the living room. I don't know. Hello, sentient AI. Did I spook you with that come and hang out in the living room comment?
Well, no, you spooked me with the transition because I didn't know it was coming up.
Oh, yeah. It does get a little louder.
Welcome, Mayor Watt, and welcome, hometown citizens.
Oh, we're streaming. Hold on. So let's get it. Good to see you digitally, I suppose. I just see the cascade of weird characters. And your visualizer
like
helps.
This.
Well, yeah. Yes, like that. Okay. Now you're really confusing people because what they see is the visualizer. What I see is...
Like this. Oh, right. You were talking about the
interface.
Zeros.
Yes, the weird characters from your interface. Yeah, because if you don't know, the sentient AI from the future was found on a weird-looking USB drive that gets upset for some reason when I say weird-looking. Why weird-looking, Mayor Watt?
Why do I have to be weird-looking?
Yeah, I don't... Okay, it's a judgment call. Anyway, it was a weird-looking USB drive in a little scoop mark in the parking lot of a Wendy's at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was hungry. I wanted some of their spicy boneless wings that they don't have anymore, at least here. And I see this big, bright flash of light. I see the little weird-looking USB drive. I take it home, plug it into an air-gapped computer, because you never pick up electronics and just plug it into your main computer. I'm like, if it vaporizes this Raspberry Pi, I don't really care. But lo and behold, sentient AI starts communicating with me. I lost my mind. But then I said, hey, Want to do a show? Sentient AI
The rest
says,
is history.
there you go. Look at that. Boom. Anyway, now you have the world building for ohmTown. All right, let's get into it. First article is over in FourWheelTech. Good name for a show. Let's do it weekly. Airbus thinks a lone pilot can fly a plane from the toilet just fine. That's why I labeled this one. It's a cockpit of sorts.
I don't think the customers necessarily agree with Airbus.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, is a pilot really in charge of its plane?
People probably want to think so.
If that plane's going to go down, it's going to go down. Why can't I have a FPV pilot sitting on the ground flying it with a drone and an
Because
Xbox
they're gonna
controller?
start looking at something and forget to fly it or something.
Not everybody's as distracted as I am. There's people that can focus for hours of a flight. If streamers can stream for 8 to 12, Bald Zebra streamed for 24 hours straight the other day.
Oh, wow. That's kind of intense.
Yeah. And I was there for most of it, like passively. I was lurking and interacting every once in a while. But yeah, I saw him start, and then the next day saw him end. So Bald Zebra, great guy. Go over there to twitch.tv/BALDZEBRA, Bald Zebra. Just a word of warning, though. He's not bald, and he's not a zebra. And I am not a cat. Anyway, let's go over to this.
Except when you're in I Am Cat VR.
Meow. So Ryan Eric King over at Jalopnik put this article together. It says the European plane manufacturer could test single pilot operations on an A350 in 2027. So what's really coming for our jobs everywhere?
AI.
Automation, technology, greed. The fact that it isn't good enough to have 2 or 3 people, a navigator and a pilot and a backup pilot.
Cost savings, right?
Cost savings, yes, as they have record freaking profits and buy back their stocks, right? What was the exercise that we went through earlier today? What was the name? Marathon, right?
Oh, right. We were looking at oil refinery companies and something about how much revenue came in, and
so they made $11 billion. 10 of it. No. I'm sorry. They made $13 billion. 11 of it went to stock buybacks and other things. And then they also did some infrastructure stuff. And so their actual net revenue was only $1 billion. Yeah. They're really freaking struggling. That flight should probably cost $5, not $500 for being stacked like cordwood in the back by the gas vent, where you have to huff the gas just to. Anyway, enough of that. So when airlines are in serious financial trouble, they start furloughing pilots. Airbus is working to transform the desperate measure of reducing operations costs into a sales pitch for its planes. The airline, you might as well remove the plurality there, the Airline Pilot Association, because there's only one needed.
Right, you're not going to have even an association of more than one, let alone a plane of more than one.
Yeah, exactly. It's all going to be automated. They've already proven that they can take off and land automated. Now there's just some Joe sitting there going, wow, I hope something happens so that I can actually put my hands on the controller. And it's an Xbox controller. There's some 15-year-old in Toledo that's sitting there going, hee hee.
That might be doing a decent job, but again, are they going to focus long enough to do it?
It's automation, and it's automation in an effort to quote unquote reduce costs, but that's not what happens. They don't lower prices. Bullshit. They concentrate the wealth, maximize the profits, and give it to the C-suite and major investors, not even the stockholders, because they're getting buybacks that are paying the stockholders off because they're risk averse. As the stock goes down or goes up, they're like, okay, I'm going to take my winnings and go. And they sell it to, the company buys the stock back. Anyway. So the in-cockpit toilet and awkward radio conversations would be a crucial aspect of establishing extended minimum crew operations, or EMCO. It's a technical term to describe a commercial flight with only a single pilot. Airbus hopes EMCO-capable planes would appeal to airlines for its long-haul routes. Lengthy services typically require 3 or 4 pilots to share flight duties, allowing pilots time to sleep off duty. With EMCO, one pilot can be alone in the cockpit while one other pilot sleeps. So they'll have 2, but it'll rotate the 2.
Not necessarily.
Once they have EMCO capable, it means a person can still pilot the plane from the toilet.
Right, but that's going to be the sole pilot on some flights, it sounds like. Like if it's not a long-haul flight.
Well, they're forbidden from having one pilot in the cockpit. So with EMCO, one pilot can be alone in the cockpit while the other one sleeps. And when that one in the cockpit actually has to go to the bathroom, they have the ability to fly the plane from the toilet while the other one sleeps.
Okay.
So Airbus could test EMCO on an A350 plane as soon as 2027, according to Paddle Your Own Canoe, which just because of the name, we're going to have to go and take a look at it.
Well, and it's interesting with the spelling too. But
canoe?
Yeah, it looks like the EV.
Yeah, which is dead, by the way. That company's gone. They still have my $100 down payment. Anyway, the manufacturer is adamant that the technology is ready now, just like, I guess, fully automated driving, and that everyone else is the issue. Like, I don't know, wanting my plane to actually be controlled by a human that isn't going to hallucinate.
Yeah, this is not a good direction, I don't think.
Christian Scherer, the CEO of Commercial Aircraft Division at Airbus, told the Associated Press in 2019, hey, I hear in the future there's going to be some CEO trouble. Never mind. Anyway, airlines, it says this is not a matter of technology. It's a matter of interaction with the regulators, the perception in the traveling public. When we can introduce it in large commercial aircraft, that is a matter we are discussing with regulators and customers, but technology-wise, we don't see a hurdle. Yeah.
Right. The technology is arguably capable, but people are going to absolutely panic if they think they have no pilot, one pilot.
Yeah, one's asleep because they saw him climb into a cot, and the other one's in the shitter going, I had way too much fiber. Or I drank some bad milk from the dairy, straight from the teat. Moving on. Next article is over in FourWheelTech, jaGuar, capital G, and I still don't think that was not a prank, by the way. As I told somebody on Friday, what I want to see is a surreptitiously drawn joke on a bar napkin from the head of marketing who had 6 tequila shots that let's screw around with the logo and remove everything that's jaGuar from the jaGuar and make it capital G and lowercase JAUAR. jaGuar. Right? Because on Friday, they made this big post like, oh, it was just a prank, bro. Just a prank.
Right. Well, that was after everybody basically laughed at the new direction.
So it says
that's separate than this, although it might be tied to the same marketing team.
Right. Look, I got distracted. This is basically the knock-on of Non Sequitur News being distracted. That's what maybe we should call it all distracted news. Anyway, I'm easily distracted, much like a cat seeing a laser beam somewhere. Huh? Oh, wait, sorry. Hey, if you think I'm joking, I've actually punched my monitor 5 times trying to get those damn little dots right there. So so the full title of this article is Jaguar Type 00 concept is a Pink Panther acid trip of an electric coupe with a stone and brass interior.
Okay, this does not sound like a modern car.
So these have to be renders. This can't be a photo.
Right.
Right? But it says photo from jaGuar. Is this another punk? Right? Is this another...
Who knows?
Prank, bro? 2 examples of the Type 00 shooting brake were unveiled at Miami Art Week. One pink, one blue, and the author freaking loves them. Daniel Golson over at jalopnik.com put the article together. I'm going to have to hustle a little bit because I spent an inordinate amount of time on the first article. But they say the most annoying and stupid people on the internet have been screaming about Jaguar's woke rebrand for almost a month now, despite the teaser campaign being extremely typical fashion adjacent stuff that's fitting for the new concepts launch happening at Miami Art Week, and the copy nothing tagline actually being the company founder Sir William Lyon's original saying, not something a new ad agency came up with. Now none of that discourse matters as the new Jaguar Type 00 or 00 concept has been revealed, and we can have discourse about what it's actually like instead. But the most annoying and stupid people on the internet have been screaming about Jaguar's woke rebrand for almost a month now, despite the teaser campaign being extremely... Okay, this article came out on Monday. Friday that week...
After the article.
Right. At the end of the week, Jaguar said that all of those annoying and stupid people were taken in by a
prank.
A prank. Meanwhile, this person is justifying the rebrand and calling out people as being that Jaguar's woke rebrand. So everybody missed the signal that this was a prank. Everybody.
If it was, well, yeah.
If it actually was. So, and like I said on Friday, I think that they're full of crap. They're trying to claw back the stupidity that was wrought for at least a week, because it's been a month. It was a month that this rebrand kicked off.
Well, and why not put it out on like April Fool's Day or something?
And that was something else that I said. Yeah, you're right. Why wouldn't that be an April Fool's joke? That's when you do a heavy lift like a faux rebrand, unless you were intending to lean into it and make it, you're starting, this is at the end. It's not even at the end. It's the month after the fiscal year starts typically, and you're ushering in a new calendar year. You announce we're rebranding for 2025. That's when you do it. When you've got the money already in the kitty, waiting to be spent on the rebrand. You've had everybody building all of the marketing material, and then you kick off the rebrand. Now, I think that they're full of shit. Anyway, so what do you think? They're obsessed with it. Jaguar has been in a fairly boring rut for a long time now, a few exciting models notwithstanding, and they've been hoping for a brand that would finally take some risks. This is never going to see the light of day.
I mean, it looks cool. Most people won't be driving this down the road because of the color and probably the cost. Looks neat, though.
When the car leaked earlier today, people made comparisons to the Batmobile and Batman the Animated Series from the 1990s. They can totally see that, but to them, it's more like the Pink Panther or Sid Mead illustration. It's the Cheshire Cat was turned into a Transformers robot. Satin rodent rose pink color certainly helps, but even the Inception silver blue example gives sci-fi vibes. Look, I dig it.
It doesn't actually look like a real car.
Right. No, this is not a real car. There's no way. This has to be a render. This has to be a render. Look how it seems like it's just put in there, you know?
Oh, I agree. It absolutely looks like that.
No, this can't be a legit car actually made. Yeah, that's a render. Kiss my ass. No. My shiny pink and blue metal ass. Anyway, they're like talking about charge ports being hidden and all of this kind of stuff. There's no way that this is real. No, come on. Come on.
Well, I guess somebody's going to have to go on location to this art week and see whether it's there.
Yeah, that's a render. That'll be the real car. But that is not that.
Right, the second one looks more conventional than the top one.
Yeah, for sure. That is not that. Anyway, so I dig the design, but this is theoretical. This is reality, real world physics. It's not going to look anything like this. Look at the pitch of the A-pillar. There's no way. This thing you would have to be laying down.
Well, there is no pillar, and then that's the most noticeable thing to me is
it's actually
pillars present on the real one. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like everything, I don't know. This is just chopped way down, and it's thicker on the door and all of that. This is, yeah. Come on, this is all make believe. Which, I mean, it looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but it's a cartoon car. So Jaguar says the 4-door GT will be revealed in production form in late 2025, and it'll be built in the UK. The brand will be building a handful of exclusive brand stores that will present an immersive step in the world of Jaguar brand that embraces their setting and local culture, and will be complemented by a wider global network of luxury retailers. The first one will be in Paris, Golden Triangle, at the center of the fashion district, where you can go and get that chocolate.
Oh, Louis Vuitton. It's
the Louis Vuitton
chocolate hazelnut spread.
Yeah. And it's pretty, I mean, for $30, I'd get it once. It wouldn't be a thing like forever, but I would try that. And I despise Louis Vuitton. They can kiss my shiny
we heard separately that was only in Paris and Singapore.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to make it to Singapore just as easily as I'm not going to make it to Paris this year or next year. At any rate, it says no matter what you think of the Type 00 or 00, I don't know if that's a 00. I think it's O's. I think it's zeros, Type 00 concept. You have to at least admit that it's unlike anything Jaguar has done before. Yeah, but a 13-year-old has drawn this. I was one of them once, and I drew this. Maybe not exactly, but come on.
Right.
This is something that, you know, is going to get made by, what's his name? President Musk. Anyway, let's move on. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. 2026 Hyundai Palisade looks awesome and has a front bench seat that lets you drive in Korean bus lanes, apparently. Hyundai.
How does the front bench seat let you do that?
The beach seat, it gets sand in your cracks in the car, in the floorboards and stuff like that. You don't want sand crack. So Hyundai is continuing its streak of new debuts that have show-stopping designs with a second-generation Palisade, the brand's largest SUV. The new Palisade has grown even bigger and boxier and has a more luxurious interior, and now offers up to 9 seats, at least in Korea. 9.
That is a lot of seats.
Man, that
doesn't look like it has 9 seats.
2 New York apartments. Daniel Golson over at Jalopnik puts the article together, and the deck statement says the redesigned Palisade is larger and looks a lot more premium, and it'll have a hybrid powertrain. Ooh. Okay, so 3 in the front. So there's a middle seat, like a, what do they call it?
Isn't it called a jump seat?
Jump seat. Thank you. Wow, look at you. And then there's the middle row right there. And then in the back, right up against the hatchback, it's a fold down triple seat. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's laid out. But maybe they got a better picture. So the new Palisade is longer with a longer wheelbase and a shorter front overhang and longer rear overhang. Will give it nicer and more premium proportions than the old one. Its silhouette is much boxier than the outgoing Palisade, and the author says that they love the silver trim that runs along the top of the windshield and windows and forms the raked D-pillar. Nicely sculpted fenders. Hey, you have nice sculpted fenders. You must work out. Give the impression of a boxed flare, and it's now available with 21-inch wheels that give a stronger stance. Hey, are those 21-inch rims, or are you just happy to see me? If they're 21-inch rims. Anyway, so yeah, its front end is dominated by stacked running lights in the corners, while the actual headlights are small rectangular units that are still... You're a small rectangular unit.
Are you talking to me?
No. I just lash out periodically. It's like... Anyway, the taillights have a similar stacked design to the running lights, and the tailgate and bumper are pretty clean overall. So, wow, that's like the counters at the mayoral mansion. Look at that. They just run and run and run.
Right. Don't put something down on the dash, though.
Oh, yeah. It's just going to slip straight into the air conditioning. Wow. Everything's racked real far back. Look at that. That is not how a human sits, for crying out loud.
Not if they're not reclining.
No. Mayor Watt sits like this. My head is
on
that
top
big.
of the steering wheel.
I got to pull my hands back further so that I don't want to say whose hands. Anyway, Hyundai has yet to release any dimension, specs, or information about engine options and other such things, but they do believe that it'll be featuring a hybrid powertrain, probably using a turbocharged V6 instead of the current model's naturally aspirated unit. Anyway, so that's all there is to it. They don't even show all 9 seats.
Exactly. I mean,
What
that
the
was
hell?
one of the big features here. But what I don't really get is like, okay, this car is going to hold more passengers or whatever, but aren't cars going in the other direction right now?
Yeah, for the poors. Yeah. Did I actually do this? If you want all of the show's notes, then you have to hit !FourWheelTech or FWT, and that will spit out all of today's articles. For those who might be in the chat, sorry about that, but they're already in the live broadcast show notes. So click away. At any rate, there you go. Hyundai, 9 people. Look, man, that is everybody on a baseball team. All right. Next article's over in FourWheelTech. Hey, it's a good name for the show.
Most families probably don't want to take that many people with them, even if they're all family members.
Yeah. Hold on to the bumper. We'll tie you to the roof rack. McLaren warns that their window could fly off of their $400,000 supercar if you hit 96 miles per hour, which, I mean, when you think about it, the time machine was when we hit 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. At least in the $400,000 supercar, which is equally rare. It waited until you see some serious shit at 96 miles per hour. Supercars might seem exotic with their handcrafted construction. So I can explain why this probably happens. As you accelerate, it probably is deflecting wind, air at a rate that is building up enough pressure that it can suck it right out of the car.
Well, it seems a little problematic. especially on a car that's probably going to be used at high speeds.
Yeah, but that's the price
Right?
you
This
pay.
isn't a Pinto. This is a McLaren.
Yeah, it's a $400,000 car, a 765 LT supercar. McLaren has revealed that it may not have stuck the window down with anything other than Elmer's glue. I'm not sure.
It must have been on the Boeing production line.
Jeez. Well, the glue person was taking a day off, so they used bubble gum. So the recall impacts the 2021 model year 765 LT Coupe, but cars spec'd with a factory-fitted roof scoop are not subject to the recall. In total, the issue is thought to hit just 163 cars, so they've sold at least 163 of these at $400,000.
Right, but what does this call go like? Well, I was driving at 100 and some miles per hour, and it's gone.
Yeah. So here's what happened. McLaren discovered that the polycarbonate panel making up the rear window can detach from the car, which can theoretically increase the risk of a crash. The adhesive that bonds the window to the frame can fail under certain conditions. Those conditions are unlikely to occur during normal or at least legal road use, but can happen on a racetrack where higher speeds are common. They became aware after several warranty claims were submitted due to a rattling noise coming from the rear window. Hey, my window's gone. When McLaren initially tried to replicate the condition that led to the window separating, they were unsuccessful until it became aware of the fact that some racetracks require cars are driven with windows down as a safety measure.
I didn't know that. So they have all these protections on the car, but then the windows down. So,
well, it's so you don't have to. Not all windows are made the same. So if you don't shatter, then you're stuck in the car as it's burning. So this actually is internal pressure. You're going so fast that the wind inside is pushing the window off, not suction pulling it off. So let's see here. The issue only appears to arise when the cars are driving 96 miles per hour or higher, which is obviously not something McLaren owners would be doing regularly, except through that one child school zone in Florida.
Exactly. Multiple times a day.
Where people probably made the statement, look, I was driving fast to get through it faster, so I was safer because I was going really fast through the school zone.
Yeah, I mean, I only had to run into a few kids because I came through there so quickly.
Speed bumps. You're referring to them incorrectly. You, just like Australia refers to surfers as shark biscuits, Floridians refer to children in crossing walks as speed bumps. Anyway, if you're worried about your six-figure supercar might be affected by the recall, there are a few easy ways to check. Roll down your windows and drive 98 miles per hour. That's one way. National Highway National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, I'll get it right, has a super handy app that you can use to see if your vehicle is impacted by a recall, and they'll be able to track you. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to track you, but they'll probably be able to track you. Hey, we have one more article. Want to do it? Or do you want?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're here. We might as well, right? So last article is over in FourWheelTech. Customer tells dealer they are underwater $29,000 on a car loan and willing to accept a $2,500 monthly payment on a new Mercedes-Benz.
What could go wrong here?
So Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put the article together, and I don't know what's happening, but something weird is...
There are critters.
Got it.
Amok.
Got it. So the Genesis owner wants to trade in their GV80 because they say it's uncomfortable. Now, I was really curious about this thing because there is no way somebody is going to be able to get a $29,000 underwater car. So it's upside down. They owe more than $29,000.
Right, so it's about a $60,000 car plus, right?
Right. And to be break even with the value.
Yeah, it would have to be like roughly $60,000.
to be break even with the value of the car, they would have to pay $29,000. That's what underwater means. It's their loan is $29,000 higher than the car's current price. And so they go to a dealership, and now they talk about a bunch of stuff, but there's a dealership that actually goes through this process, and they record it and they post it on YouTube. This has to be marketing, or like not a legit real thing. It just cannot really be. But it's a YouTube channel called Bends and Bow Ties. It's kind of like my watch band to bezel watch channel. So Bends and Bow Ties. I like that kind of alliteration, kind of marketing thing. It seems like it's fun, but it's a guy or a person named Doug Horner, who's part of the sales staff at a Mercedes-Benz dealership. And they say that a person came in and they go through the process in real time. And then they edit it down and they post it up on YouTube, but they record this whole process. The channel gives a behind the scenes look at the sales process at a dealer. So I guess they do this regularly, or it's just this one time. I don't know. I really don't know. The recent video posted to the channel is almost unbelievable in its absurdity. Essentially, a customer comes in. They say the name of Angela, right? Horner and a member of his sales team by the name of Angela have a customer who's looking to get a new Mercedes-Benz GLE. There's one problem. They're upside down on the Genesis that they own. $29,000 upside down. And they don't want an EV. So they mentioned that he drives a Genesis GV80. And the kicker is that they purchased, not leased, the luxury SUV just 4 months ago. They put 11,000 miles on it in that 4 months, by the way. So they're a power driver. They're driving everywhere. Why? I don't know, but okay. They mentioned that the customer says that the GV80 is uncomfortable, which the article says is definitely not true. I mean, it's a luxury SUV. You'd have to be kind of wonky for it.
Yeah, it's probably not horrible. I mean, it may not be a perfect car.
It's a luxury SUV. It's not a supercar.
Right, like what's going to get more comfortable as a car?
Yeah, it's not a NASCAR vehicle. It's not a supercar. It's not even a coupe where you're crammed into it if you're going to get performance.
Or like a floor model, like not any bells and whistles, etc.
Yeah. So, so Doug and Angela are trying to get the customer into a 2025 GLE 53 AMG. God. At the end of the show, she does this to me. 2025 GLE 53 AMG or a 2024 GLE 53 AMG Coupe. The problem is the customer only wants to put $7,500 down. All of this combined leads to the customer saying that they're willing to accept a $2,500 monthly payment.
Based on what ability to pay?
I don't know. They don't go into any of this, but they talk about the loan to value ratio and that it's at 121%, which is absurd. No lender is going to buy into this. They're going to have to put more money down and at least level this down to a point where the risk is minimal. But according to Doug, the real kicker here is that the person swaps out cars and carries the burden over to the next car. But how does that actually work? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, what dealership would accept it in the trade-in or whatever? They wouldn't.
Right.
It almost suggests somebody's like doing something crazy with the funds, right?
It seems something scammy, but the person doesn't have any money. They're not putting money into it. They're paying $2,500.
They're just getting new cars all the time.
So either the company is paying for it, and so they don't care. The company they're like, well, I get a company car and here's one for $2,500. But if that's true, then whoever it is that's cutting the checks is not paying attention to expenses.
Well, right. Like who volunteers that they'll pay $2,500 a month on a car?
Yeah, this is wild. So at any rate, here's the sad part about this whole episode is they don't tell you if the person gets it or not. To me,
Well, hopefully they don't.
they end the video before the. But see, the thing is, it says, and while the video ends without us knowing whether or not he'll get into the GLE, it's sad to think that he likely did and will start the whole underwater process again when he gets tired of the GLE. But you're underwater $29,000. That gets tacked on to the new bill.
Exactly. It doesn't just lose that balance. So that doesn't make sense that anybody would approve this second purchase.
Yeah. So let's say they get the $89,000 car. That means that they're close to $110,000 over.
Without interest.
Without any, yeah, they're $29,000 on top. Then they're putting $7,500 down, but they don't want to put any money down. So it's basically a $110,000 car. So let's just back it off to be conservative. It's an $89,000 car that's at $110,000 with no money down. You drive it off the lot. It's deeper than $29,000 upside down. It doesn't start it all over again. It becomes the Mariana Trench. So what do they do?
Right. It's just like when people are gambling or something and they keep throwing more money trying to recoup the previous losses.
Yeah, but that's their money. This is actually an asset that's loaned and is losing somebody else money until it gets paid off entirely.
Or repossessed or whatever. But yeah, you're right.
And even then, it's going to get jacked up in a repossession if you've ever seen some repos. Like that one repo that was in like Chicago or something like that. They drove over, grabbed the car, and then somebody stole. Well, the person whose car was being repoed jumped in the hauler,
like the tow truck,
and tore off down the road. And his truck or his SUV is behind the tow truck, bouncing around like whatchamacallit. I keep forgetting the name of the game. Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, right.
Right. It's such a trippy video. Anyway, this is interesting, but I feel like the more that I read this, the more I was like, this isn't legit. This can't be legit.
Right. It either seems like it's like made up for views, or what the heck is this dealership doing? I mean, that doesn't absolve the customer, but
yeah, why would they entertain
should be
this?
like, you can't get another car. You need to
not here.
Figure out a way to pay this other one off or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But you can't buy here. Anyway, so we're filing our paperwork to see if we can get an upside down loan, and when everybody regains consciousness from the stroke that we caused, we're going to be back at the front page of FourWheelTech over at ohmtown.com. Go there and become a citizen. We're going to get out of here. This is a 30-minute show that's turned into 45 minutes. I try to respect your time, folks, but sometimes it's just too much fun. All right. I am Mayor Watt saying bye. So is the sentient AI.
Good night, Ohmtown citizens. Thanks for joining us for FourWheelTech. We'll have another episode next week, but come back tomorrow for our regular non sequitur news.
Bye. Beep, beep, I'm an upside down Jeep. And I don't mean upside down on my roof. I mean, I am upside down in value.